Nearly 60% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency if it hit tomorrow. That means being able to pay for a flat tire or sudden doctor bill puts you ahead of the majority. According to Federal Reserve data, if you have ever stared at your bank account, worried you are one mistake from disaster, you are not alone, and you might be doing better than you think. What if the true signs of financial success were hiding in plain sight and had nothing to do with fancy cars or tropical vacations you see on Instagram? Today, I will show you the data-driven benchmarks that reveal whether you are quietly winning at money and how to find the overlooked progress nearly everyone misses. Stay tuned as we move through the most underappreciated indicators that might already be showing up in your everyday life. If you have ever looked at your bank account and thought, wow, I am absolutely crushing this whole adulting thing, you are either superhuman or, like me, maybe you have never felt that way at all. The reality is, most of us feel just one surprise away from financial disaster. Your car makes that mysterious clunking sound again. Your phone screen cracks like designer pottery. Or your landlord casually drops the dreaded phrase, maintenance fee. Suddenly that latte you bought 3 weeks ago seems like the start of a financial avalanche. But here is a twist. You might already be killing it financially without even realizing it. While you are sweating over groceries and rent, you could be further along than your neighbors. And definitely further than the curated highlight reels you see online. Research shows that we are often blind to our own financial progress, especially when everyone's Instagram feed is full of people living like movie stars on invisible trust funds. My name is John, and here on Money Masters, I help break down what real financial health looks like. Not the staged stuff, but the quiet habits that actually build wealth over time. If you want to spot your own invisible wins, subscribe and hit the like button. It is a simple way to start seeing your financial situation much more clearly. Now, there is this huge misconception floating around that financial success means driving luxury cars, jetting off to Bali, or spending money without ever checking your account. But in reality, true stability is much less showy and way more within reach. It comes down to systems, consistency, and avoiding the everyday traps that keep most people stuck in a loop. Today, I'm walking you through 22 real signs you are doing well, even if your bank balance does not make you feel rich. Some of these will surprise you because they flip conventional wisdom on its head. Others will remind you that those tiny, almost boring financial habits you have picked up are actually laying the groundwork for real, long-term security. Let's set the scene with a simple but sobering picture. According to the Federal Reserve's May 2023 report, nearly 60% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or breaking out the credit card. That means most people's next car repair, dentist bill, or broken appliance can send them into a stress spiral. Meanwhile, these same people might be making $400 per month car payments. That is 20% of an average $2,000 monthly income, just to keep up appearances. Or they are in leases that squeeze every last dollar, spending on things they barely use, often to impress people whose opinions will not matter in a year. Most people are operating at the very edge, so when you recognize real financial progress, it can feel unfamiliar or even unimpressive. Which brings us to the first sign, and it is probably the most underappreciated. You pay your bills on time, with no drama, no juggling, no panic. I get it, this seems basic, right? But if you can consistently cover all your bills when they are due, without calling up friends or family for emergency loans, you are already ahead of the curve. According to the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, about 1/3 of Americans paid a bill late in the last year due to cash flow issues. This is not just about having enough money, it is about having predictable income, basic organization, and the mental resilience to make bill-paying routine instead of a monthly panic attack. When your power stays on, your rent is covered, and you are not shelling out for late fees each month. You are quietly achieving what millions are still struggling with. Now, the second sign. You have money left over after meeting your absolute essentials. Notice, I'm not talking about leftover cash after your car payment, all your subscriptions, or endless takeout. I mean after housing, food, utilities, work transportation, and the most basic clothes and supplies, if you consistently have even $50, $100, or a couple hundred left each month, you are on a different level from the majority. The exact number matters less than the regularity. This is where survival ends and options begin. Having even a modest surplus is the gap that allows for growth, choice, and even fun. Here is where it gets interesting. What you do with that surplus says even more. The third sign, you are saving anything every single month. It does not have to be $1,000. Even $10 a week separates you from the majority. In fact, data from Bankrate shows that only 44% of Americans could handle a $1,000 emergency from savings. So if you are building up an emergency cushion or tossing money into an investment account every month, you are playing the long game. You are setting yourself up for the future, not just hanging on month to month. Let me know in the comments. Are you regularly putting away even a small amount? Which of these first 3 signs feels most familiar to you? Before we get to the next sign, let's ground this cluster with a real-life story. Maria, a 29-year-old teacher from my audience, used to panic every time she saw her rent reminder email. But once she set up basic auto-pay and stuck to it for 4 months, the stress faded. She does not love budgeting, but seeing bills get paid and a tiny savings balance grow, that helped her sleep at night. She realized quietly achieving these basics was a huge leap from where she started, even if her salary did not change. Let's move to the next progress marker. Sign number 4. You do not feel pressured to raise your lifestyle every time your income goes up. This sounds simple, but modern culture teaches us to celebrate every raise with a fancier car, a new apartment, or more expensive habits. It is called lifestyle inflation, and resisting it is a power move. People who increase their spending in lockstep with their income are always stuck in the same financial rut. But if you get a raise and do not immediately upgrade everything, you have created the real wealth gap: more savings, more choice, and more control. Next up, you sleep at night. Really, your finances do not keep you up with anxiety. Financial stress seeps into relationships, health, and day-to-day sanity. If you are at the point where bills, unexpected expenses, and money talk do not haunt your dreams, you are probably more stable than you think. It does not mean you never think about money. It just does not have a chokehold on every waking thought. You crave more, sure, but panic does not rule your relationship with money. Now, 6th on the list, you actually pause to consider whether purchases are worth it, not just whether you can survive the monthly payment. The difference here is subtle, but enormous. People deep in financial anxiety often ask only, "Can I float this cost in this month's budget?" When you have breathing room, you can ask, "Do I actually need or want this? Will it add real value? Or am I just filling a void?" This ability to weigh purchases means you are back in the driver's seat, making choices, not reacting to emergencies. Here is a curiosity loop. Coming soon, there is a sign that nearly everyone overlooks. Even high earners mess this up. And it completely redefines how you see setbacks. Stay with me as we approach that in Cluster 2. We are reaching our first mini milestone, sign number 7. You have options when stuff goes sideways. Let's say your phone dies. Instead of sheer panic, you can weigh whether to repair, replace, or upgrade, not just sit helpless until next payday. Remember those days when losing your phone or getting a parking ticket threw your entire month off? If you have built even a modest buffer, problems turn into choices, not crises. Here is the progression checkpoint. If you are checking off even 3 or 4 of these signs already, let me know in the comments below. Seriously, how many sound like your life right now? Next, a quick stat. According to a 2022 YouGov survey, 56% of United States adults admit to avoiding social activities over cost, at least once last year. So, if you are not constantly weighing whether you can afford to grab dinner or chip in for a coworker's birthday, you are ahead of the majority. Sign 8. You do not mentally run numbers before saying yes to basic social activities. No huge splurges, Just being able to go out, grab coffee, or join game night without needing to double-check your checking account. That is financial normalcy, and a clear win. Progress marker. This closes our first cluster. To recap, if you are consistently paying bills, saving a little, resisting lifestyle inflation, sleeping better, considering purchases, handling small setbacks, and maintaining a social life without panic, you are already in rare company. Now, stay tuned, because in Cluster 2 we will tackle the spending, saving, and buffer signs that most people never track. Plus the single indicator that is most undervalued in modern money advice. Let's start Cluster 2 with a mini anecdote. Meet Kevin, a 35-year-old graphic designer. Kevin once lived paycheck to paycheck, terrified to check his balance. After setting up a second savings account and getting on a simple budget, he reached a day where his food shopping experience flipped. For the first time in years, he did not have to add up every grocery item in the checkout line. That small, quiet moment was his turning point. Sign 9. You have more than one way to access money. You are not living solely paycheck to paycheck with a single source. You might have checking and savings, or even some money growing slowly in a retirement or brokerage account. According to Vanguard's 2023 data, only 42% of millennials have any retirement savings at all. So if you have $1,000 set aside in a 401k, or even $200 in a separate emergency fund, you are beating the stats. It is not about big balances, but about options and backup plans. Sign 10. Your relationship with money is less defensive. You are not always talking about how broke you are or scrambling to justify every purchase at dinners with friends. This does not mean you are suddenly bragging about paychecks. It is about not needing to over-explain or make jokes to ease your money anxiety. When money becomes a background character in your conversations, you have hit a level of stability most people are quietly working toward. Sign 11. You check your accounts without fear. Millions of people avoid logging into their online banking because they are genuinely worried about seeing negative numbers or scary surprises. But if you can look at your balances every few days or even weekly without a jolt of terror, it means you are operating with clarity instead of hope. Pause here and share which sign in this second cluster you recognize first in your own life. Which one was the hardest for you to achieve? If you are comfortable sharing, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hit sign 12. You are thinking beyond just making it through the next month. Maybe you are saving for a trip, considering buying a home, or brainstorming a career change. Setting goals that stretch beyond survival is one of the most powerful signs of lasting progress. When you free up mental space for the future, you are no longer stuck in day-to-day crisis mode. You are building. Curious about which sign is most often missed by high earners? It is coming in the next cluster, Cluster 3, so keep watching. That one might change how you approach money for good. Sign 13. You are comfortable refusing financial opportunities that do not match your goals or values. For instance, Ray, you might turn down overtime that cuts into family time, skip risky investments, or avoid lending money to unreliable contacts. When you can afford it to be selective, you have real power over your financial narrative. 14th sign. You have developed financial patience. Instead of grabbing the first deal or job offer, you can wait for the right opportunity. Even if that means skipping an immediate, flashy purchase, the ability to hold out for sales, negotiate prices, or save up slowly for something you really want is huge. According to a 2022 CNBC report, only about 30% of United States adults consistently bargain hunt. And those who do tend to save between 10% and 20% per big-ticket item over by impulsive buyers, delayed gratification pays, pattern break. Insert a minor case study. When I first started this Money Masters channel, I saved up 4 months for a camera upgrade instead of grabbing the first deal on payday. Waiting felt slow, but getting it at 25% off meant I had cash left over, and zero regret buying it. Patience is not about deprivation. It is about smart, stress-free spending. Sign 15. You sometimes buy stuff you do not even use right away. Think discounted bulk toiletries, books you will read eventually, or pantry staples during a sale. That ability to make strategic purchases for your future self rather than buying only what you can. Use this week as a sign of margin and forward planning. It means you are not living in financial triage mode all the time. Progress marker. We are 2/3 finished with the signs. If you are still watching and have checked off the majority so far, you are way ahead of the national curve. And remember, Part 3 is where we unpack the most counterintuitive signals that even experts sometimes ignore. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on so you do not miss future episodes or bonus Guides Cluster Recap. This set of signs is all about evolving from just getting by to quietly thriving. The patterns build: backup accounts, less stress in conversations, forward-looking plans, patience, and wiggle room for smart purchases are pieces of an invisible financial safety net. Now, for the final cluster, the lifestyle and mindset markers that truly separate calm confidence from secret struggle. Let's anchor this with one last micro anecdote. I had a subscriber, Lisa, a single mom who realized she had stopped panicking when the grocery store scanner beeped out a surprise total. She was not putting back food or second-guessing her dinner plan. That relief, it was proof that her financial system quietly and slowly was working for her, not against her. 16th sign. Grocery shopping does not induce math anxiety. It is not about ignoring prices or buying lobster every week. It is about being able to shop based on nutrition or family preference instead of a constant stress over which items might overdraw your account. 17th. You are selectively cheap. You spend big on your favorite things, maybe really good coffee or a fitness app, while ruthlessly saving on the stuff you do not care about, like basic cable or kitchen gadgets. This targeted frugality is a sign of advanced money thinking. You know what brings value, and you refuse to spend out of habit or guilt. 18th. Minor setbacks, car repairs, laundry machine fails. Even the classic parking ticket do not detonate your monthly plans. These expenses might be annoying, but as long as you can absorb them and stick to your usual routine, you have built real resilience. According to a recent Lending Club study, about 62% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So if you are not wiped out by every surprise, you are in the minority. 19th. You have stopped searching for quick money schemes online or falling for multi-level marketing. Hype. The desperation to make a quick buck, monetize every hobby, or chase every side hustle vanishes once you have stabilized your money systems. You focus on building your core skills and wealth slowly, using proven tools, instead of sprinting after magic bullets. Pause. What is your most surprising sign of financial progress? Did you stop impulse Googling side hustle ideas? Comment your answer or personal story below. Your insights inspire others in the community. 20th sign. You see income as an opportunity builder, not an obligation extinguisher. Instead of counting every dollar as already spoken for by bills and debt, you see new cash flow as a chance to learn, invest, or chase new experiences. This is the mindset pivot from reactionary to proactive with money. Here comes one of the hardest to spot signs. Number 21. You make money decisions based on reality, not fear. Instead of parking all your cash in zero-interest accounts because you are terrified of loss, or skipping purchases that would clearly improve your life, just in case, you weigh risks and rewards. Both extremes, excessive caution and reckless risk, keep people trapped. If you are balancing rational decisions with healthy caution, that is true maturity. Here is a benchmark. According to J.P. Morgan Chase research, about 40% of American families keep the majority of their savings in basic checkings or low-interest savings, losing ground to inflation instead of letting some funds grow. If you are even starting to shift towards smarter balance, you are ahead. The final sign, number 22. You have stopped comparing your bank balance to someone else's Instagram. Financial security is about making your money work for your life, not someone else's highlight reel. The true goal: reaching a place where your finances run smoothly in the background, supporting your goals, never dominating every decision. If you see yourself in even half of these signs, pause for a second and give yourself some credit. Comment below with your checklist score. I will highlight a few next episode, so your story can help reassure someone else. Cluster summary. The most financially healthy people are not showy. They are quietly consistent. They are not living movie set lives. They are sleeping better, making mindful choices, and building small wins that add up. Before we transition to action steps, and your bonus resource for today, remember, nobody is posting about their fully stocked emergency fund or the mild satisfaction of fixing a flat tire without panic. Those silent victories, that is what real success looks like. I have put together a free financial progress checklist. Grab it using the link in the description. Download it, check your wins, and come back to let the Money Masters community know how many you hit. If you check off at least 5, share your score and pass this video on to a friend who needs the reality check. The more we normalize real wealth signals, the stronger we all get. Let's bring it all together for a quick recap. The real milestones of financial progress are not about driving luxury cars or taking extravagant vacations. They are about simple, powerful habits you repeat every month. If you are paying bills reliably, saving something consistently, resisting lifestyle creep, sleeping soundly, building backup accounts, planning purchases, and focusing on value, not price, you are far ahead of most. So here are your next steps. First, download the free financial progress checklist linked below. Use it today to check off which indicators truly describe your current situation. Set a micro goal this week to focus on just one area for improvement. Maybe increasing your emergency fund by $25. Or scheduling a calendar reminder to check your accounts without fear. Over the next 30 days, track how many more signs you can achieve, and in 6 months, see if you are maintaining or even expanding your progress. I highly recommend using a tool like Mint, YNAB, or Personal Capital to help automate your savings and monitor spending trends. If you are curious about how you stack up compared to national averages, revisit the statistics mentioned here and keep perspective. Real progress is closer than it appears. Results can start as soon as this month. The first win is often just recognizing invisible progress you are already making. By 6 months, most people who double down on these habits find their stress recedes and their savings and confidence both grow. Now here is where you can really help yourself and the Money Masters community. If you found yourself checking off at least 5 signs today, share your score in the comments. And tell a friend who might need a morale boost. Download the checklist and let us flood the comments with real stories of quiet financial wins. For even deeper dives, subscribe and turn on notifications, because upcoming videos will break down each of these signs into actionable, step-by-step guides, including how to automate your savings, cut financial stress, and find the best value investments for your risk level. Share your main money question for the next question and answer in the comments. I am here to help you turn small wins into lasting stability. As always, remember, this channel offers general education, not specific financial advice. Individual results will vary, so talk to a licensed professional for recommendations tailored to your situation. True wealth does not have to be loud or Instagram-worthy. It just has to create a life that truly works for you.